All right.
So
So
I guess before we go, the question is, did anybody watch this program this week on AEW? Our normal monitoring of the ratings. They were way up last week. They were over 700,000 for the first time in a month or so.
Well,
what happened?
AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, 8 to 10:06 p.m. on TBS. On average, watched by 690,000 viewers.
Well, that's not bad. They are back down below 700, but they're way above the low sixes that they were in for a while there. They were stuck in the middle with you.
3% down from last week, which was 711, and 10% up on the trailing 4-week average of 630,000 viewers. We have the quarterly numbers.
And I mean, is there any way, before you get to the quarters, is there any way, and in this, barring any kind of major competition from a huge sporting event or a big WWE event or something, is there any way at this point they're going to do more than 750 again or any less than 550? It's always, or even they've got down in the fives on Dynamite, not as an overall number, but they trail off into it. But they haven't done 750 in I don't know how long, and they never go below 550. So that's where their range is.
No, this I think is the peak. This is as good as it gets. Right now, there's no NBA. Right now is the time where you could really take advantage of the sports schedule and hopefully pull in some numbers. But let's go to these quarterly hours. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. And of course, it does not include Max. Or HBO Max, I guess it is again. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m., the MJF Adam Page live promo, and the Jon Moxley promo, 864,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. All right. That's the biggest lead in that they have had, the biggest first quarter, I should say, that they've had in months and months and months. And that also shows that they're going to go back to their old pattern of starting big and precipitous drops, all the way to the end. So they've avoided that for the last few months now, where they've started lower, but they've maintained more of their audience, and a couple of times even fluctuated. I think, what was it, a week or two ago, one of their quarters was bigger than their first one, which never happens. But now was there something odd on the lead in, or is it just the lack of any other sports competition and people are watching the Big Bang again? What was with that lead in?
I couldn't tell you. Typically MJF segments have, even with the declining viewership with AEW Dynamite, they've done better in the key demo, better.
Yeah, but
typically, but this is so much higher than that. I don't even know if that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for when they didn't know what place he was going to be in the show, and suddenly he's there, and there's an extra 150,000 people sitting there waiting on it. Again, we'll see what percentage of the audience they lose, but they had more in times previous. They had more casual people that you could tell were checking out the show until they got bored or disinterested or saw who they could see, and then it just steadily lost. They've reversed that over recent weeks. Let's see what this does.
We go to quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. Jon Moxley versus Kevin Knight with picture-in-picture, 774,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, there went 90,000 right off the bat, and they got a lot of room to go to hit this average, so they're continuing in that direction.
The direction continues in quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The Death Riders, Jet Speed, Darby Allin, and Will Ospreay live angle, and the Adam Copeland FTR video, followed by an ad break, 769,000 viewers.
That's not actually bad. That's 5,000. That's kind of normal fluctuation. I'm interested to see what my counterpart of modern times Stokely, the manager match, has to do here?
Well, first we have to go to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Mercedes Moné, as well as Tekla and Sky Blue versus Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale with picture-in-picture ads, and the post-match with Tony Storm and Athena, and the Will Ospreay backstage promo, 718,000 viewers.
Ooh, see that? There goes another 51,000. Now they're down 146,000 since the start, and it doesn't look well for Edge and Stokely because they have a rotten lead in, even though they're at the top of the hour.
We go to the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. Adam Copeland versus Stokely, and the post-match with FTR, Christian Cage, and the Matriarchy, followed by a Hook video and an ad break. 699,000 viewers.
All right, so they lost another 19,000. They're under 700,000 at the top of the hour because of that crummy segment that led them there.
Well, the crumminess continues, Jim. We go now to quarter 6, 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. Brody King and the Conglomeration and Hiromu Takahashi versus the Don Callis family and the Young Bucks with picture-in-picture twice.
Oh, boy.
610,000 viewers.
Good Lord. So not only was that a match nobody wanted to see, and it had the buckaroo effect of running everybody off, but they went through 2 breaks because they couldn't just get the fuck out of there. So now they lost 89,000 people in 15 minutes with, again, Don Callis is the top manager. He's supposed to have the top stable of heels. These guys were the EVPs, the big tag team of the year. They lose viewers every time they show up. Now they're 254,000 people down from the start of the show. Here we go.
Yeah, and by the way, they lose viewers. They lose viewers in the key demo. For everyone who always said that was the key objective, the overall number doesn't matter. It's all about the key demo. That's the only thing advertisers care about, the only thing the station cares about. Those are where they lose people. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, and I don't know if anyone has the time or the patience, but I would love to know. Next to the Young Bucks and Jon Moxley, does anyone on AEW Dynamite have a record like they do of dropping the numbers below 500 or below 600 and the key demo under 200? But let's go back to this. Quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The continuation of Brody and the Conglomeration and Takahashi versus Don Callis' family and the Bucks. An ad break. And the Swerve Strickland Kazuchika Okada ramp angle. 560,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord.
Under 200 in the key demo, 194.
So from the quarter before the Buckaroos showed up to the quarter when they were done, they lost 139,000 people, and that's in a space of 30 minutes.
Well, Jim,
yeah.
Let's go to quarter 8. I remind you, we have a 6-minute overrun. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. The Death Riders Young Bucks backstage angle, an ad break, and La Facción Ignoberales versus the
Lord.
Ops with picture-in-picture.
These are the things I missed, huh?
This was the main event. 570,000 viewers, 190 in the key demo. 6-minute overrun. More of that match, and Adam Page gets jumped in the parking lot by MJF. 573.
So they actually gained 10,000 viewers for LaFuckers and Goobers main event after the Buckaroos had got off the screen. So they start at 864 and end at 573, and they dipped to 560 along the way. They were officially at one point down 304,000 viewers from the start, which again is well over 30%. They Remember when we would calculate it every week, they lose 35% of their audience? If they start with a big number, obviously some of those people are not regular viewers and they just happen to be there and they give them a chance and sometimes they make it 45 minutes or whatever, and then they just start leaving in droves. But, whether 3-hour Raws or 3-hour SmackDowns or Saturday night's main event or whatever, the one thing you can say about the WWE and every other wrestling program I have ever heard of or been involved with, you don't lose a third or more of your audience that you start with by the end of the show. And as we've mentioned 18 million times, that used to be the highest rated part because that was your main event. Well, and it still is for the WWE and some other situations, but not these fellows, because the show is all the same. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And finally, you get frustrated.
Well, that's the Dynamite way.
Speaking of being frustrated.
That's right.